Hello, my name is Brandi Hofer, your host and founder of Color Me Happy, a community podcast and book, all of which I started in my in-home studio whilst in the throes of motherhood. I am an artist, author, educator, and mother to 3 beautiful boys. We live and create together in our in-home studio that is tucked away in the quiet Canadian prairies. Our podcast and community was built to empower and inspire. We chat about everything from motherhood, the art world, business, and health in the most honest and authentic way. It's totally unedited and unfiltered. If you love what we do here, become a part of our free community, Color Me Happy. We have grown the community to support our members with features and interviews. Our link is in the notes. Thank you for being here. I sure do appreciate your time.
Every week, like 3 times. There we go. Welcome, Shannon. I'm so excited you're here because we are finally recording our, I feel like I've been creating this content for years, but we kind of just decided that Shannon messaged me for a video. Will you make this video for my class? I was like, I am doing a class just like that, but I've been putting it off for a really, really long time. And then I was like, let's collaborate and combine what we know about diversifying income, because actually Shannon was the reason I was in her mastermind. Was it 4 years ago or 3 or how long ago was that?
2019 to 2020.
Yeah. So I remember your voice and me like, that's great. Is that sustainable what you're doing though? And I was like, whatever, Shannon.
Do you feel good right now?
Yeah, I was like, I hate portraits. Like, I'm a portrait artist. I hate painting portraits. It's the worst. If I have to do another one, I'll just burst. Yeah. Anyway, this is a different time. I'm excited about painting portraits now. All clients, all custom clients. I'm very excited now because and we talk about it in our course. So we're teaming up to make this awesome course. We're recording it today, but we're coming to you with this podcast because Shannon's going to tell us how and why she ended up in Italy today.
Oh, there we are.
This is the fun shit you can do when you have freedom in your creative practice.
Yeah, it's true. So hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. It's true. Brandi and I are going to finally record our course because we were kind of writing the same course, but separately. So we decided why not bring it together and make it a superpower course together. I'm on the island of Sardinia in Italy right now, and I am on a year-long travel, I guess. We've been living in Finland. I'm Canadian, but we've been living in Finland for the past 4 years, and we decided that we would travel for the year. And so we went from Finland to Germany to Canada to Germany to Denmark to the Faroe Islands to Iceland, back to Germany, and all the time in Europe, Faroe and Iceland, we're actually traveling in our van. And then we drove back down through Switzerland into Italy, and here we are. And from here, we will be going to Spain, to Barcelona by ferry, and then from Barcelona, Mallorca, and then we'll spend a month in Mallorca, and from Mallorca, I think we're gonna hop back to Barcelona, and yeah, we're trying to decide if we're gonna go down to Gibraltar and over to Morocco, depending on how much driving, because I have a 9-month-old baby and a 2.5-year-old, and we like to keep driving times maximum 3 hours. 2 hours is nicer. Or we might just come back down and through Paris and to visit some friends, Germany, and then we're making our way back to Denmark. I don't think I've told you that yet. We're moving to Denmark.
That's so crazy.
To a place that we don't know anything about and we've never been before, and I don't know when the podcast is coming out. I haven't even told all my family yet, but anyhow, that's our plan. So yeah, creative life on the road, keeping the business going, and it's a wonderful thing. So I think
but there's a reason it works. Like, you have built it so it works for you in this season of life, right?
Absolutely. And I think slowly, over the course of the past 3 or 4 years, I think it was in I can't remember exactly, I told you before, but in 2018, I had a moment where I broke up with all my galleries. I just had a moment where I was completely done. That wasn't working for me anymore. And I don't know if it was sometimes the relationship, it was sometimes the model. And it's when I decided that I was just going to invest in myself, get myself into mentorship groups, and teach myself how to get my business online and how to become a self-represented artist. And I would deep dive, like I'd spend a week. I didn't even have an Instagram back then. So I got one. I didn't have Facebook, so I got one. And each week I would deep dive, like how to market this, how to learn this, how to grow an email list. And I worked in mentor minds and I took courses, and I just kept my professional development going to, I think within a year, then I kind of broke free and had my full-time art business running and being sustainable. And it just keeps growing and getting better each year. And I would now say, I'm not a self-represented artist. I call myself now a hybrid artist. So I'm quite the believer in having different galleries and self-representation and finding a balance of different things that work. So having your different income streams, having your different paths. And for me to be nomadic, a lot of that is because I've spent the past 5 years setting up passive income streams and doing collaborations and partnerships. And a lot of them are automated and run themselves, or I can do them online. And as far as studio setup, I have a small art box that I bring with me. And so I do actually continue to do work on the road. And as far as big work, I wait until we stop somewhere, maybe for a month. And I plan my commissions a year in advance. I only take 4 a year because that's what's sustainable for me. And here we are. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah, no, I love that. Thank you. And I say multifaceted, and I love how you said it is different for everyone, and it's kind of always changing and flowing, and you kind of have to go with what's working in that model. And you do have to do your own, you have to be motivated to do your own professional development, which like if you don't know something, you'll figure it out along the way. You really will. You have that ability, and we have the technology to do that in this day and age. And why not? I've saved a couple mentees from actually going back to school. I'm like, please, they're like, I'm going to quit nursing full time, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to,
PhD.
I'm going to go back to art school, and I have 3 kids. And I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that, because I'm like, that's just another situation where you will get yourself into more debt. Yeah. And I never want to be responsible for that. Although on the other hand, I could be responsible for something else. But I just, in my heart, I knew, and I have been in so many groups with women who were succeeding, who hadn't gone to art school, and joined groups and did online education alternatively, and just showed up every day in the studio. And that's not necessarily painting, but doing self-development and kind of a mix and making it work. And you do learn along the way. So and it worked for a lot of them.
Absolutely. I attribute nothing to my art, like my fine art degree, to my business or creative practice right now. Seriously. I
know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
It was a bit of a traumatic experience, to be honest. There were some great connections and great people in some of it, but business-wise, zilch. But it was the time that we were in it too. It was before social media and the ability to, well, for me anyways, it was right, like Facebook just came into the picture. I also wanted to talk about the mindset of it all. And it's so funny sitting in the season of finally hitting some financial goals that we had originally like talked about, you and I, and in the course we're very transparent about what that is. I was like netting minus 1,000, and I'm not netting six figures, but I'm in six figures in gross income. But and by the way, if you don't know what I just said, if you don't know what that means, you really need to learn
Get to know your finances.
Yeah, but that's like step number one, really. Yeah, don't avoid finances and money mindset. I love money mindset stuff, but it's funny because I'm still kind of in that mindset of I need jobs and I don't need any more jobs. Like I'm so overflowing with like tasks and jobs and mural orders and stuff like that. And I have a callback today from a reality TV show and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, do you have time this year to sneak in like a quick record of a reality TV show? I'm not sure. But I also am always like, it's something really scary and new. I don't really necessarily want to do it that badly, but I think it could be something. So I'll just check it out. But I definitely don't need financially that path, which is nice because once you get to the point, you get to decide and say no.
I love saying no. I love having the ability to pick and choose, and it feels so freeing to have that, to pick projects that align with your brand, your goals, your authenticity. I can't entirely say exactly because I signed non-disclosure contracts, but I had two of the biggest meetings of my career this year with huge brands. And I walked away from some contracts that were $15,000 US plus 30,000 because it wasn't, it didn't identify with it. And that was a lot of money for me to walk away from. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I think so. That's like a good hunk of your,
it's huge, right? But at the same time, it's not the only thing on the table for me. And I just, it's not like I walked away and I was like, no, thank you. I don't need your money. Cause I would definitely love to have their money. But it didn't align with who I am and where I am as a person and my brand and my lifestyle. And so it wasn't something I could fully get on board with. And I knew that by saying no thank you and passing on the opportunity, that more things would come, and the other things I have going, I would have more time to let them flourish and give my energy and effort into different spaces that do connect with the real me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Totally. I love that freedom, but I'm just like my mind has to catch up with what is happening. Like I'm just not used to it yet.
Yeah. Well,
just always like grasping for more. Like it's like that, over a decade of like I need more to, succeed. And I don't know if that will ever fully go away necessarily. But hopefully I'll chill one day a little bit more.
No, I used to say yes to everything too. And I used to think I wanted my plate full of commissions. I don't want that at all.
No.
Four a year. I know it now.
Yeah.
And that
I'm about there too. Yeah, 4 to 6.
Space to give it like a really, really nice experience for the client. And it allows me to pick and choose which commissions. I take commission applications now. And so I get to pick, which projects I want to do. I don't do it for small things. I only do big ones. And it just creates a nice experience with the client, and it's a nice experience for me because I feel I can breathe and sit and think and connect again with the people and have time for other things.
And that's what it should feel like.
Yeah.
It should never feel like I need this order in order to succeed. I need this person. I desperately need this. And it should feel like a partnership and a connection authentically. And that's what we're talking about in the course today, is like, we're not being, this is no like hook marketing tactic.
No.
Like, learn how to make 6 figures this year. And you're like, that's not true. You might not. Right?
No.
So the authentic way for you to expand as a creative, and financially, that might not happen for a long time, or financially, you might have to look into working full-time somewhere else. And you might like the balance of working somewhere else and, you know, doing something different and then coming back. And then this other stuff feels like a really big treat. Like, I know and I just emailed you this yesterday or the day before. It's all blurring together. We're working really hard on the content for this course. But I really genuinely love the balance of motherhood and a creative career, because all day I was admin. My dad had Teddy, and I was like totally like, my eyes hurt from the computer. And then I got to go to a 1-hour hockey practice on ice and play with kids and have fun with my son. And just like, it was great. Like, I love that you have the choice and freedom to like live your life, but also thrive in your career because you're showing up for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it too. And I think that these times when our kids are just so young and so little, like, it's such a short snapshot in time in the grand scheme of our lives. And I want to hold on to like all of it and every minute of it. And in the Nordic and Scandinavian countries, it's extremely common for like children to go into it's called kindergarten there. It's different than what we have kindergarten in Canada, but into like it's kind of like preschool, but like a full-time preschool / daycare at around a year old. But I haven't done that. I haven't done that because I just want to hold on to these moments and have the kids with me. And at the same time, I want to maintain my professional autonomy and my business and let things grow. And I'm so grateful for having harnessed the power of diversified income streams and learning how to get my art and my business in different facets all over places I never could have imagined. You know, while I was pregnant and even continuing on now while I have kids, because it's like allowing me to have both, which I never thought was like possible. Yeah.
No.
Anyhow. And you know,
not at all. You really only have 4 great years. And I know Elizabeth Gilbert says in like Big Magic that she never thinks you should make money from your creative, but also she wrote that book a really long time ago.
Yeah.
I think we've evolved and changed.
In that book, doesn't she?
She what?
I think she also tells people not to go back to school in that book.
Yes.
She's like,
yeah.
Go back. Yeah.
No, she's
I want to
definitely
circle back
not.
To something you were saying though a moment ago, was that, you know, we think like we can't get much done in a day, especially if we have little children around or we have a full-time job, or we feel like we can't get it a lot done in a week, but we can get a lot done in a year. And so, you know, time blocking and valuing your time working on your art business and taking it like a meeting. If you have a meeting like we have right now, where you show up and you schedule it and you arrange childcare and you block up these hours.
Get out of the house right now.
There's a little bit of that.
Every time you're like, go.
But you can make those for yourself and your business too, right?
Yeah.
And to continue your business and the goals that you have for yourself, you need to protect them. You're not going to do one more load of laundry. You might have to step over dog barf or something. You're not going to just run the dishwasher. You're going to maintain that appointment, that it's a meeting like anything else, and show up for yourself, even if it's just for 15 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour.
It all adds up.
It does. And
I think it's rooting down to like self-worth too. I think that's if we're really getting down to the nitty-gritty of it all. And it took a few years for me to get into like, even like I was pretty obsessed with going down and painting, but I was healing from grief. And that was an important process for me to go through, and it took years. However, when I started looking at finances finally and breaking those down and meeting with other women who are empowering me, and then I trudged around the financial books forever. Like, I was embarrassed to have them. I didn't read one of them for a year. I didn't read this for 2 years. Like, and it was just low self-worth. Like, and it took me, like, I'm sure it's different for everyone, but it took me personally a few years to get into the mindset of actually deserving thriving in a career. And I don't know why. I can't tell you exactly why. And it happens with like money mindset early on from like what you hear from your parents and stuff like that. But I really urge readers to read my book. Listeners to read my book, and you can learn a little bit more. But the money mindset books are really great for self-worth. They're not just about like making the best money. They're like this one's called The Science of Getting Rich, except it's all about like gratitude and being present and being your best self and visualizing with the person and where you want to be. Like it's I read this one every morning. Like, it's actually one that Jen Sincero recommends in You're a Badass at Making Money. And like, you can see it's dropped in the bath, it's speed up, it's like underlined and dog-eared everywhere, because I read it like a little bit, like a paragraph or two or a page every morning, because it just like with my tea, and it just gets me in the headspace of where I need to be and what I'm working toward, but also being present. So it's really important to get into those routines of where you're tapping into why you're doing it, and self-worth and gratitude. And that's what we have in the course. It's like a surprising little, like, this is about financial freedom, but it's actually about you.
Yeah. I just hosted one of my monthly regular, I gotta agree with you so much. I just hosted one of my monthly mentorship sessions last night, and exactly this. I was talking about creative practice, tools and tips, and organization, and this idea of having workflows and time blocking and using Pomodoro timers and different like apps and methods and techniques, or trying Notion or Trello. These words may mean nothing to you. You can Google them, but they're planners that help you brain dump our pinball machine brains and organize the thoughts, but prioritize your time and your tasks and your projects. So you're not doing things the night before submission, and you have enough time to get all of your projects done. But understanding that valuing yourself and valuing your time, you need to plan. You need to set goals, and you need to plan, and you plan your year. And I can promise this: if you plan your year out, you will begin to increase your income within your art business, even exponentially year by year, simply by having a plan, because your goals are built into the plan and you make time for them. Having the whiteboard, setting an alarm on your phone, right? Like, you're going to read a page of this book every morning. You're going to get up at 6 and read a page of this book. Having a whiteboard in your studio or your closet or your dining room or wherever you make art, and having the week broken down of what you're going to do each day. And the research tells us, as creative people, we can often be quite erratic in our bbits, but you can have artistic freedom within like workflow systems. Am I making sense right now? Yes. So by cultivating these habits, like, 21 days to have a habit or whatever it is, by cultivating workflow and time blocks, you cultivate habits, you actually are springboarding your creativity and your creative capacity and your creative development. So if every Monday from 9 to 10 a.m. you are doing admin work for your business, that's something that's built in. It becomes better and easier each Monday. And then maybe in Tuesday, you have 2 hours of studio time and on Wednesday, but by having these repeat time blocks scheduled where you're valuing your time, you're valuing your practice, and you're valuing your self-worth, you're able to achieve goals and be more productive in the time.
Mm-hmm.
But often
I'm super stubborn. I'm so stubborn with my time. Like, it's insane. And when someone's home, like I'm sick, I'm not going to school. I'm like, no, it's Wednesday. It's my day. It's my day.
Yeah.
You can't be here. Yeah. And like, it is all my week. My workouts are the same. My, like, every day has like the same. And it is like, that's why like books like Atomic Habits and stuff like that are so successful and so popular, because they add up. Like you said earlier, it all adds up to something grander and bigger. And if you keep that goal in mind, but you have to like write it down and you have to plan it, and you have to, depends on what kind of person you are with the organization sort of things. My husband, I'm looking at it right now in our fridge, just got another calendar. He ordered it for me for Christmas. I was like, I'm never going to write on that whiteboard calendar. We've had 3 now. You've had 3 that you've gotten. And I mean, like, you go for it. But I have my online calendar that we also both use. And I don't know why you insist on having one on the fridge. But like, you have to know what works for you.
Yeah. And for me, I put everything into my phone. Right? Into the calendar. But then, and it's connected to my email on the laptop and the iPad, and it all talks to each other. And then they all come with like alerts and reminders and little flashy buttons and sounds. And I need that.
Yeah. The 10 minutes before, like, get your butt over to your computer.
I need that. Exactly.
Do a quick costume change, get to your computer. I also really love, though, writing down and crossing off, the good old-fashioned habit of list making, because like there's some like little things and my computer would get completely overloaded with
tomato box.
Tomato box. You're traveling, you're in Italy, to use what you have. It is like, it's like the little daily things that you need to accomplish, but also just physically writing the big goals down too, like every once in a while, and definitely at the beginning of each year is cool too, because every year I see my agenda and I was like, I did that and I didn't even think that was possible. And that's pretty insane, actually.
Cool exercise we were talking about last night was like, sometimes you need to review you can't remember what you did in the year. You have to review your achievements and wins. And a good way to do that is scroll through your phone from the past year and then write a physical list. Because you're going to go through the pictures. You're going to see how many paintings you completed and art shows you participated in and people you met and places you got to go. And because often you're taking photos of these things along the way, and you can really like boost yourself up to see you don't have a lot of time in a day. Maybe a week, you can do a lot in a year. If you plan it out, you can do a lot more.
Oh my gosh. And like, I cried this year. I was like, I can't believe this all happened. I just like cried in gratitude. And I think that's so important. I cried lots, actually. Multiple conversations, multiple podcasts, just like, it's unbelievable the power of daily tasks, big goals, mindset, and combining it all. It's like a superpower. And I really don't know how it works, but it does.
And it seems so wishy-washy to people until they try it out and put it in practice and give it a fair chance. And then they see the power of it and it works. And then they drink the Kool-Aid.
Right. It is. It's like telling someone who loves red meat that you're like plant-based living and you're the best person you've ever been. And they're like, yeah. I'm not giving up sausage or whatever. Like, it's like, come like 2 weeks, just give it 2 weeks, or I would say 30 days for anything, but like, give it a good old try. Like, I seriously, and I say this is a line from my book, I was a ho hum kind of like, I know it maybe didn't seem that way, but I was pretty negative, like a negative it's hard to imagine. I was like, I like to complain, I like to play the victim, and it wasn't serving me in life. And when I started like expanding on who I was, and I lost my line of thought because my husband walked in. Expanding it, but believing, and then your energy, and Jen Sincero says this, it's about the person you need to become, and becoming the person that you want to be, and working on yourself first, and then expanding into community. It's very, very, and then it working, and it's just it's so powerful, and it feels like good for your soul.
Yeah. And I think that, and supporting ourselves and surrounding ourselves with people that are going to cheerlead us and collaborate with us, and collaborate in competition, but people who are believing you and your goals and where you're going and are on the right path. And as artists and creatives and creative practitioners, we're often the minority, and we often work in silos alone on teams of one. And we introduce ourselves at different events, and people ask us what we do, and they don't understand it or don't believe it to be a real profession. And that's great. You can spend your time trying to prove it to them, but you don't need to. Just surround yourself with people that know you can do it, and deep dive into the artist community that's going to lift you up, and you're going to see for yourself that it's possible. But it's really nice.
I think that's the biggest one. You're right. Like, community is so important, and a community of people who empower you.
Yeah.
And leaving those toxic relationships and partnerships, which isn't easy, but it just has to happen. And it's a part of, letting that go in order to become the person you need to be. I think that this was a great podcast, and now it's time to deep dive into our workbook and our class. So check it out. It is, again, so authentic and so wonderful, and you're so inspiring, and you're living your creative life and your creative dream the way you set out to. So it's a perfect example and collaboration between two people. So it is called Diversify Your Creative Income, and it is out now. In the future, it is out now. It's such a weird thing. Anyway, it's out now, and it's available in the links below, and you can find it at Shannon Amey Art on Instagram and Brandi Hofer Studios. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us anytime. Thank you, Shannon, for being here.
Thank you. I'm going to turn a light on.
Yeah.
If you're looking for some time for yourself to relax, release, and unwind, Oasis has the perfect space for you. They offer yoga and spin classes of all levels. Whether you are a beginner or advanced student, Oasis thrives on accommodating all aspects of the practice. Let their serene environment and gracious staff help you in your journey of peace, healing, and strength. Sign up online at www.oasishotyogastudio.com or by downloading the Oasis Hot Yoga Studio app. Feel like yourself. You deserve it.